guys. Okay, so I am back because you hear it? I'm so excited. I promised to do a video about my drum making experience, which was yesterday. And first of all, I have to say it was awesome. I wanted to get on. I was gonna do it a little bit later because I'm making my beater today. But it's gonna rain, so I wanted to do it outside because it's so much nicer out, but it is gonna rain most of the day, so I wanted to get out before it rained. So I'll have to do another video when I finish my beater, which I have already. But okay, so first of all, amazing experience. Kris Faso, which is spelled K-R-I-S. He's out of Sodas, New York, so if you're anywhere in the area and you ever get a chance to go to anything that he does, he's incredible. He's really incredible. He is a shaman, and he's just amazing. His energy is very connected. You know, hard to describe, but very connected. And I felt bad because I ended up having a migraine a lot of the day, so I was not a big talker. And if you watch my channel, you know, at least on here, I seem like I'm really outgoing. And I know I've talked about being kind of an introvert, but I felt like I was really introverted yesterday. So I hope that he felt my energy enough at least to know that I just didn't, my head was pounding all day. And I didn't bring my migraine medicine, which was not very smart. But his energy is absolutely amazing. And he kind of just takes you on a journey of how there's a little, that's so funny, there's one of those little teeny red bugs on my phone. So if you see a thing going across the camera, that's what it is. Oh good, he's off now. So anyways, amazing energy. He kind of just takes you on a journey, and it talks about how the drum is an extension of yourself. How it is, to me, it was very clear that it's really a way to connect to the universe and the energies of the universe, to talk to Mother Earth, to put out your spirit into the atmosphere, into the world. To me, it just was amazing. Just was amazing. So first of all, you get this wooden hoop, and it's hard to see, and I know on my pictures I couldn't really show. He said, you know, you can do whatever you want on the inside of your hoop. The outside of the hoop obviously gets covered with the skin. So on the inside, I put the symbols that I wanted to put, and I'll try to show them. So I have, there's the triple moon and the air symbol, the infinity symbol I put on there. There's the earth symbol, and I did north, south, east, and west. Okay, hold on. So, okay, this symbol here is my sigil. I made a sigil that, and the way I made it was it has all of the letters that spell out Willowwind, the way I spell it, my magical name. So that is the symbol for Willowwind. That is my sigil, that when I want to put my energy into something, that's what I am putting on it. So then it has a pentacle and the symbol for water and the goddess symbol, which that's kind of the best I could do. That's pretty good for me. I have a little spiral in her belly there. The fire symbol, the green man for any of the gods, Cernunnos and Hermes and Pan. And then we're back to the infinity symbol. So that's the symbols. You start off with this wooden hoop, and it's a white pine hoop, and you put whatever symbols you want on the inside. You can paint it, you can, you know, do whatever you want. There was someone there who put their hoop in the fire because he wanted to add fire energy to his hoop. He didn't let it burn, obviously, you know, just a little bit, but the smoke and fire energy went into his drum. And you start out with these wet skins. Now ours were horse skins, and I know there was someone there that went, oh, it's a horse skin, and she said, oh my gosh, it feels like skin. And Kris was like, that's what it is. And I get that. I get, you know, feeling like, oh my gosh, but this was a horsey. But he gets his skins that he does his drum making classes with from Native American people who do this all the time, who, you know, they're ethically sourced, so it's not like they go out and shoot horses for the skins. That's not the way it happens. And to me, I have always talked about how that stuff does not bother me as long as it is ethically sourced. To me, that's like a recycling thing. You're using as much as you can, reusing, upcycling, reusing. And to me, that energy from that horse, I really felt that energy from that horse, and to me it was a beautiful experience. There was 9 of us making drums, and he passed out numbers, so everybody got to pick their skins. I was 8, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I thought, no, you know what, whatever skin I'm supposed to have is going to still be there. So of course, as he laid out the skins, I was looking at one specific skin, and I thought, oh, I hope it's still there. I don't know though, I'm like second to last. And of course that skin was still there. And to me, and I don't know, yeah, you can kind of see, to me this almost seemed like a yin yang. There's a dark area on this side here and a light area on this side. And I was like, yeah, that balance of energy. As a Libra, I wanted balance, and I wanted to be able to see, you know, a difference in the skin. And there isn't a whole lot of sun, so this is kind of hard. But there are, you know, when you look through the light, there are things in the skin. And, you know, different hairs that were on the skin, obviously, and stuff. It had been tanned. I think that's what you call it. But when you're looking into the light, there are things that, symbols and stuff that for me, I am going to be picking up on as I use my drum as an extension. So then making a drum is hard work. Who knew? The skin needs to be stretched. So he had soaked the skins overnight for 24 hours. And so it was pliable, and you know, you put it, really, a lot of us, we put it around a tree and pulled, and I knelt on the skin and pulled up, and you're really trying to stretch that skin out as much as you can, because when it dries, it contracts, and it comes back and envelops your hoop, and that's what makes the drum taut and, you know, creates the sound for the drum. So really, I'm pulling, and as you're doing this, you're really connecting to that skin, to what is going to become your drum, which is just awesome. And I hope I'll be posting, I asked him, actually this morning, he showed me a picture of me connecting to my drum. I just kind of laid on my back, and I had it on my stomach, and I just was kind of shaping the sides and stuff over it, and I just was really deeply connecting, and it was a beautiful picture. So I hope to share that. And I just noticed there's another symbol that you can't see very well because it's in orange. Ooh, wow, you really can't see. Oh, there it is. So I did a labyrinth. To me, that's the name of my Etsy shop, is Magical Labyrinth with a K. M-A-G-I-C-K-A-L, Labyrinth. Labyrinths mean a lot to me, and I think I've done a video about that last year, probably. Maybe I'll bring up a couple things about the labyrinth again. So you stretch that skin out. You really are connecting with it the whole time. There's a fire. Everyone is kind of around this big fire pit that he has. It's his home is right off of Lake Ontario. So I did post a couple pictures. I'm going to post a couple more pictures on Instagram and Facebook today of his property. He has, I think he said 5 acres, and he is a stone stacker, you know, where you balance stones. Like, I know I saw on Tattooed Spirits that he does the same kind of thing, and he's amazing at it. It's some of them are really sculpturally beautiful, and the balance, for me, the Libra balance, I'm gonna have to start doing that because that really appeals to me. So you stretch your skin out, and then you create holes evenly. So what he said is he wanted 12 holes around the drum. So you start at one point, do a hole on the opposite, and then halfway, start at one point and do a hole on the opposite. And it's funny to me, some people were very precise. He had yardsticks, so you could measure out, you know, what the distance is between holes and stuff. And he's like, and some people were very precise about where those holes were. And if you know me, I'm just not that kind of a person. I'm not someone who is very perfectionist about something. I kind of wing a lot of things, and I felt like, no, I'm just going to look at it and go, okay, this is about halfway, and this is about halfway. And the point was to make 12 pieces of a pie. So it's funny. And the whole time I'm thinking, I just don't, I think it's because my brain does not think in numbers and math and, you know, the pieces of a pie thing. No, it just doesn't work that way. I am a very emotional person, and maybe that's partly the other reason I don't really think in, you know, these numbers. To me, it didn't mean anything. I knew I needed to have 12 holes, and they were opposite of each other and everything, but it just didn't come together for me how this is going to go on the hoop. I just didn't get it. It's this big circular piece of skin. So you get an awl, which is basically like a sharp screwdriver. It looks like a screwdriver, but it just has a point at the end. And you hammer the awl down onto the skin. The skin is very tough. Especially there's some pieces of the skin that are thicker than other pieces. So like as you go around, some is thinner and some is thicker. You poke a hole into it, and you kind of rip it up into over the awl so that there's a decent sized hole, because what you're putting in here, these things, this is also skin. It's just cut into strips, and it looks like it's very thin strips. Well, when you start off, it's about this thick, so they're fairly thick, and so then you have to stretch that skin too. You get one long piece of skin that's, you know, about an inch across. And so you put that around a tree, and you stretch that out until it's thin enough to go through these holes that you've made. You have 12 holes around. You start by tying a knot in one end. You stretch it across to the opposite. Stretch it up and over your hoop. Loop it through that one. Then you make a slip knot, which I have to say again, I don't know. I'm not that technical kind of person. And I was like, I had to wait for him to come and help me make a slip knot, because I'm like, I know you said a slip knot because you want it to be able to move a little bit, but I don't know how to make one of those. So he came over and helped me make a slip knot, and you kind of wrap it around a couple times. Intuitively, I did. I know he did have, there are instructions, so if you're that kind of person that has to have everything has to be a certain way, he has the instructions on, you wrap it around this way once, and you wrap it around, but he said, and then also, if you're one of those kind of persons, you can listen to me very carefully, this is how you do it. Or if you're like me, who's very intuitive, you just kind of figure it out. And then you go the opposite direction. So you're making a cross at first, and then you wrap it around, then you go to a different one, and you go opposite, and you keep going opposite directions. And so what happens is these are very pliable. Don't forget, when we're doing these are all wet. The skin's wet. This is wet. The pieces of skin that are going to ultimately hold the drum on. So you're looping these across, and this center part is kind of moving a little bit, and you're trying to pull it tight, and it moves down to this side when you're pulling it tight, and then you do this side, and then it moves over this way a little bit. And again, there's some people that were very precise about what they wanted, the center right in the center of their drum, and intuitively, to me, I did not want it right in the center. There's something about when you hold your drum, I wanted it to one side, because I felt like I'm gonna need to hold it away from me a little bit, and it intuitively is much better for me. Then the other thing I did was I brought a whole bunch of stuff, because he said if you want to put beads on your drum, if you want to put crystals, you know, on your drum, make sure that the holes are large holes, because you're putting pieces of skin through those holes, and so you're gonna have to do that. I brought a whole bunch of stuff, not knowing what I would want to put on my drum. This was a button. I'm trying to show you that I got from my grandmother's. I inherited a jar of old antique vintage buttons. This is an amber and turquoise button from my grandmother that intuitively I wanted in the center. It just suddenly came to me, oh my gosh, I brought that button with me. And so I looped this in at the end when I was almost done looping the skin part. I looped this in and it is not going anywhere. There is no give to this anymore. The suede pieces are the last pieces. So you get 2 long pieces of suede. Again, it's about this thick. You loop it through. There's 2 of these. So you start by looping it through one of those and then wrapping. And that pulls 2 of the strings together. So, you know, these 2 started out separate. But again, when you, and you didn't have to do this if you didn't want to. If you just wanted the really pretty spokes, they were very pretty. Some people made like a little nest in the middle with their excess skin. That was very pretty. But when you go to grab your drum, you want to have that comfort level of this is what I am grabbing. And this feels right for me. Some people did more than just the 2. Intuitively, this just felt right to me. Just felt right. This is my drum. And intuitively, this is my drum. He told us that we probably shouldn't play it a whole lot the first night, but to spend time with it. So as it's drying, it is tightening, and there is, you know, I spent a whole lot of time rolling the inside. Hold on, let's see. So this skin I just kind of rolled up, and he had tacks, we could tack it until it becomes hard. That tacks it against there. I just rolled it, and I spent a lot of time doing this, which is what I was doing when he took the picture of me, which I hope I'm able to get a copy of it so I can post it for you to see. But I just spent a lot of time doing this, and it's very kind of pliable. There's one piece that I hope, no, it's not gonna. I was really hoping this piece was a very kind of thick piece of skin here, and I thought maybe that will stay pliable. It would be kind of nice because there was something about that piece that I kept intuitively, and it's still smooth. It's very smooth. Intuitively, I've kept kind of being on that piece for some reason. But it's pretty hard now, so it's not going to stay like skin, which is okay because I know it's kind of geeky to keep saying I'm doing this with the skin and stuff, but it was a very grounding, earthy. It was a lovely, lovely experience, and I'm so excited to have had it. I feel like I want to go out and make another one now. I have so many ideas because he was talking about there's buffalo skin, horse skin is what he got in this time. There's cow skin, there's buffalo skin, there's deer skin, which turns out very white. People have very white ones. That is deer skin usually and a lot thinner. I feel like I want them all. I want to do a buffalo one. There's something to the connection of this horse that I feel like this is my spirit guide horse now. And I believe I probably will be naming her because to me it's very much a part of me. This is an extension of my spirit. And I'm so psyched about it. I just can't describe it. Last night I put herbs on the inside that I put sage and lavender for that protection, for cleansing, for that. To me, lavender is a very protective but a very loving herb. So I put sage and lavender on the inside last night and kind of rubbed it in and left it there overnight. I may do that for a couple nights, just to give it my flair, my instinct. That is really it. It was an absolutely overwhelmingly beautiful experience. Again, Kris Faso, I totally thank him for putting this on, and somehow, it's just like the universe puts this up. It showed up on my Facebook events thing. I didn't know him. He knew some of the spiritual people from the community that I know. One of my old pastors from a spiritualist church, Meddy Jacks, is a friend of his. So there's people that have run in the same kind of circles that I have. I didn't know anyone else there personally. I didn't know Kris personally. This was the first time I'd ever met him. Coincidentally enough, though, he lives like a street away from the cottage that I grew up at. My grandparents had a cottage, and I'm sure I've talked about it before, but I spent summers at my grandparents' cottage when I was a kid, and it was a street away from there. So it's funny that it just, you know, it just was meant to be. This was supposed to happen at this time. So I hope you enjoyed this. I know everybody was excited to hear about it, and I am absolutely in love with this drum. And I will show you when I'm done with my beater. There's a beater that I just knew exactly what I was going to do with it, so I'll talk about that then. And I may be doing another video today. I have a couple things that I still have to do, but I hope you all have had a wonderful weekend, and happy new June. Yay, we're into June. Midsummer's coming, the 22nd, I believe it is. Maybe it's the 24th. I gotta look. Blessings. I hope you all are wonderful. Don't you poop on me, squirrel. I hear you up there. Love you all.